Hello and welcome to another Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Challenges, directed by Luca Guadagnino. So I've seen some of his work before, Call Me By Your Name and the Suspiria remake, and I can't say that I loved either of these films. I found him a very stylish filmmaker, and in the same way, Challenges is just oozing with style. It's beautifully executed, but for me it was very much style over substance. Now, I like a good sports movie and I don't mind a bit of romance, and I'd just seen Josh O'Connor in La Chimera and was looking forward to seeing him in a very different role. I didn't have massive expectations, but I was expecting to enjoy it. So this is a kind of love triangle set around tennis. We've got a female coach and two male tennis players. And the structure of the story is that it kind of jumps around in time in a non-linear way. It's pieced together like a jigsaw. And I did think that this worked quite well. It's definitely not a happy love story. These three relationships, the two male friends and each of the males with the female tennis coach, the three relationships are very much dysfunctional. And this was my first kind of problem with the film. None of the characters are particularly likable. I wouldn't say that any of them were in any kind of authentic love with each other. Two of the characters seem shut down to any intimacy, while the other one is like a puppy dog obsessed with one of the other characters in a really unhealthy way. But I had the feeling I was supposed to be invested in this complex love triangle. Add to this the rather clunky metaphor of comparing tennis and relationships, which seems to kind of form the backbone of the film. This construct just didn't work for me. The film is beautifully shot and the tennis is very realistic, but to me it just felt a little bit overcooked. It's like they sat down and thought of literally every way in which they could shoot the action, putting the camera in every position, even appearing to be inside the ball at various points. Underneath the court looking up, individual beads of sweat dropping from foreheads, all beautifully executed and technically adept. But given my lack of engagement with the characters, I found this almost to be a bit too clinical. It really felt like all style and not enough substance. Overall, the film's meticulous technical achievements didn't compensate for its failure to create engaging, relatable characters. And for me, this results in a narrative that felt more like an exercise in style than a compelling story. Right, I need to talk about the ending now because I was very dissatisfied with this. So if you haven't seen the film and don't want to know the outcome of the final tennis match, switch off now. I've heard people saying how much they liked the ending. I hated it. For me, this isn't a film for ambiguity. Although I say I wasn't very engaged with the characters, I did want to know who wins the tennis match. If you make a sports film, you have to let us know the outcome of the sport. I think Luca probably thinks it's a really clever ending, that a reconciliation of the friendship is the only outcome that really matters. What is the ending supposed to be saying? That they're all reconciled to living in the dysfunction? This doesn't feel like an interesting ending at all to me. In the end, the tennis doesn't seem to matter to the film. It's just a vehicle to tell this story, this triangle of dysfunction and obsession. In this way, I felt a bit cheated that I wasn't given the satisfaction of an outcome. As a final comment, this review has maybe come out a bit harsher than I expected. I would say the film is watchable. It's quite long at 2 hours and 10 minutes or so. It could have been a bit shorter, I think, but I was just about engaged enough to see what was going to happen. It's only when I actually put together all my thoughts on the film that I realised how dissatisfied I am with it. Would I recommend it? Not really. It's not terrible, but it did leave me dissatisfied at the end, and even more so as I've had time to digest the film. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.